Friends who he does like podcasts and
Does
stuff.
content. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been pushing me to do stuff, man. You know, because I've been playing with the idea for a long time, and I don't know if you noticed, but I started putting stuff up. I got a TikTok
Yeah.
now. I got a little Instagram stuff,
You
reels, and all
you
that.
would get a TikTok right when TikTok's about to go away.
Mm. Well, there's a possibility it might go away. We'll see.
Possibility. Yeah.
I don't care.
No. Yeah. There's different platforms.
Yep.
I want to do something like that too this year. I told my wife, I was like, this year I got to record some kind of content.
Yeah, man.
There's too much trash on the internet right now. What you want to talk about, bro?
Well, that's what I'm thinking
There's a
right
lot
now.
of pressure
I
right
want
now.
to. No, I want to make it genuine, organic. You know, I
Of
don't want
course.
to like fabricate anything.
Of course.
So let's say, all right. At what age did you come to know Christ?
Well, I actually went to Catholic school for my younger years, from first grade to I believe it was sixth grade. But to be honest, I if I had to really think back, I really didn't know Christ. It was really more of like a curriculum in school kind of thing. Really, the only thing I can remember from that time is stand, kneel, sit. That's it. The priest, you could barely understand what he was saying. So I just kind of showed up because I had to show up for class. I didn't come to truly know Christ until I came to Living Word, when I got baptized, which was, I want to say, maybe 10 years ago? About 10 years ago. And I'm 35 now. It's crazy. So I was about 25, 26, right before I got married.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually think that process in my life is actually what brought me to the realization that I wanted to get married. I don't think I wanted to get married for the longest time. I didn't really believe in it. Didn't really have good examples of successful marriages. So once I came to know Christ, that's when I realized, all right, this is the next step in my life.
So that was 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago, yeah.
You were with your wife at the time. You weren't married, but you were in a relationship.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, how was your life before that decision was made?
In terms of
Just, you know, like the things you would do, the things you wouldn't do. Like, were you even conscious of like doing good, you know, pursuing righteousness? Like, you know, were you, you know, going out, drinking, just doing whatever you want?
Yeah, I feel like at that time, I feel like I was always a good person. I always wanted to be a good person, or tried, I guess. But it's definitely hard to do that when you're selfish. And I think that before I came to know Christ, it was really just about myself and how I can feel better, look better, and I guess upgrade my status, if you will.
Yeah.
It was always just about me. Even when I was in a relationship, it was like, all right, she's good. Now let's focus on me, kind of thing. And she actually started her journey before I did, which is what kind of led me to it, because I was like, I saw changes in her and little subtle things, right? Like even like the kind of music she would listen to while she's cleaning the house. We went from aventura and bachata on Sundays to clean the house to worship music, and I was like, well, that's different, right? And you know, seeing the little subtle changes in her and just the way that she kind of approached things, and even how she approached our relationship, I was just like, all right, this is different. Let me see what she got going on. And that's when we started going to church, and I realized that I'm a little bit of a crybaby. Only when I hear the word or when I'm worshiping is when I cannot control my emotions, when it comes to just like, it's overwhelming, you know? Only Christ and my kids can bring me to tears.
That's right.
Yep.
And how much have you grown? Like, what would you say the areas that you have grown from 10 years ago to today in Christ?
I feel like he's definitely helped me be more patient, not only just with people, but with myself. Um, I've always been the kind of person that, like, once I've achieved something, I'll celebrate it for a really short period of time, and I'm ready to run to the next achievement. And he's taught me to just kind of be patient and trust in him that, you know, his timing is better than my timing, even though I'm very impatient. I'm that guy that puts the order in, and once it's confirmed, I'm already looking out the window for the delivery, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But it's a terrible way to live your life and look at your life when you're talking about, you know, achievements and what you've accomplished. Because sometimes what you want right now is not for you right now, right? And you got to kind of grow into the person you need to be in order to have that blessing and really truly turn that blessing into blessings for others. And I've realized that a bunch of times in my life where I'm like, man, as much as I really wanted that, I'm so glad I didn't get it when I wanted it, because I would have messed it up, right? I would have ruined it. It would have been something that wasn't a blessing to anybody, including myself. So, and then there's other things that he does where I'm like, wow, I didn't even know I needed that. And thank you, right? Like even my kids, when we decided we wanted to have a kid, we felt like we were ready. We planned everything. And then what does Christ do? He goes, yo, check this out. Here's 2 of them. And I'm like, oh my God, 2 at a time. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do that. And as much fear as I had in that coming to fruition, man, ever since these girls have been born, he's taking care of them every step of the way.
Nice.
Every time when we're like, man, how are we financially going to do this? He's like, yo, I got you, right? I gave you this blessing. I'm going to take care of this. And it just happens. And we're like, and obviously, you know, we put the work in and stuff like that. But for it to happen in the timing that it does, that's definitely not us, right? And we realize that when they turned 1 and we realized we were outgrowing our apartment, he was like, take this house. We're like, what? You know, like in a time when people were struggling to find houses and the market was
Wait,
crazy.
what do you mean take this house? Somebody gave you a house?
No. We bought a house, but the process of looking for one was so strenuous. You know, we when we decided we wanted to go buy a house because we were outgrowing the apartment, we had put a bid in on a house, and we actually got accepted, and we were in the process of buying this house. And we were so excited, like mentally, every single day we were going to bed, we were like planning what we're going to put things in this corner. We were like looking at the pictures of the house to plan how we were going to do the decor and all that. We were super excited, right? First time buying a house. And about 3 weeks before closing on the house, the seller's wife passed away due to COVID.
Oh, wow.
And obviously a tough time for that man and his family. But ultimately he decided he didn't want to sell anymore, which completely understand. But then it just put us back in a predicament where now we're back on the hunt looking for a house.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us about 6 months to find that first house. So we were just like, man, this is gonna be quite the ordeal to try to find something else. And a month later, another house that we didn't even think we were gonna be able to get got the offer accepted and bought the house.
Nice.
And the house that we're in now is has more size, has more room, bigger backyard for the girls. So what we thought was the perfect home wasn't for us, you know?
God had a better plan.
We had a different plan, yeah. Now we're in that house now, and the memories that we're making now is just, would have never thought in a million years, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yep. The best part is like having our parents come and them experiencing the kids and being out there and having fun with them and running around, and it's our own privacy, you know, where I grew up in the inner city of New York. Ain't no privacy in the city. You're out there in the park, you know. Millions of kids, a bunch of things going on that shouldn't be going on. I'm just very blessed that my kids get to grow up where they grow up.
Amen. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
So if there was 1 or 2 things in your life right now that you would say is somewhat of an idol that's kind of either occupying time that could be dedicated to the Lord, or maybe, just things that that, man, like maybe I'm a little too much into this stuff and maybe I should spend more time with the Lord. What would those two things be? I bet you I know
Yeah,
them.
that's a tough question, bro.
I bet you I know them.
You know one?
I could try to guess.
Watching football?
Sports.
Yeah, I definitely could slow down on watching sports and use that time better with the Lord. 100%.
What's another one?
Um, Work. Man, work gets in the way. Just gotta quit my job. No, I'm just joking.
What's your work schedule?
Nah, my work schedule is super flexible. I'm very blessed in the flexibility I have.
But when you're off of work, you're still thinking of work sometimes?
Yeah, I'm technically always on call, but it's not anything that keeps me away from anything that I prioritize. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think there's anything that kind of pulls me away. It's just more of me just kind of reprioritizing what's important. To
Right.
be honest, we all got the same amount of time in a day, and people don't think 24 hours is a lot of time. It's a lot of time, because when you break it down to what you actually spend your time doing, you're like, man, I can't believe I spent all this time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Like when you look at your phone, it tells you how much time you spend on social media and different apps.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's really sad. It's definitely eye opening, because it's not from a long period of time in one sitting. It's literally throughout the day. You realize all that time adds up. You just spent in a fake world.
Have you thought about how you want to grow in Christ in 2025?
Honestly, I haven't thought about it yet.
Well,
It's a really, really thought-provoking question.
yeah. Well, that's the goal.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
at the end of the day, the Lord in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I know the plans I have for you, to give you a hope in the future, not to harm you, to prosper you. But this life is temporal, and He does bless us in this life. He blesses us with, as you were mentioning, material things like homes, a house, physical things like your daughters, your wife, and, a blessed life, being your provider, giving you a means of providing for your family. But ultimately, the goal of God is to conform us to the image of His Son, Jesus. And for eternity, He wants us to be like Jesus. And in this life, we're never going to reach that standard. But through the Holy Spirit, we get to incrementally become more and more like Jesus each day. But we also have our will. He didn't take our will away from us. And we have to be willing to deny ourselves. Jesus says to deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow Him. And that means to literally surrender your life, surrender the interests that we have, the desires, the goals, the dreams, the ambitions, and say, you know what, Lord, I'm going to lay this all on the altar, and I trust you completely with my life, and whatever you have to prune from me, whatever you have to take away, whether that be sports, whether that be, the gym, whether that be our career or whatever it is, just being able to just say, hey, Lord, you know what, it hurts, but I'm gonna put this in your hands, and you know what? If you have to take certain things away, so be it. If it means that I'm gonna represent you better, and I'm gonna be used by you in all aspects of my life to bring forth the gospel, because that's what the message is of Christ. He said, "Go therefore to all nations and make disciples," and ultimately, that's what is going to be celebrated in heaven. What did you do with the time I gave you, with the resources I gave you, with the gifts, talents, and abilities I gave you? And just something to think about.
Absolutely.
Things that I have to think about too, because I get caught up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still killing this flesh every day, but this flesh, vanity, pride, ego, interest. Like, I like drums, I like certain things, so I'll be there watching videos of drums or sports or whatever, and then next thing you know, I'm like, man, I wasted all this time into all these things, when in actuality, they're not really profiting much when it comes to the kingdom.
Right.
So it's not about like, all right, you won't do these things ever. It's just like you said, reprioritizing certain things. So kind of doing an internal investigation of our daily, practice. Like, okay, what time do I wake up? What do I do the first thing I wake up? Do I go on my phone or do I pick up the word? How's the rest of my day looking? Obviously, we got to work, we got family, but how much time can I interject to spend time with the Lord?
Right. Absolutely.
So to switch gears a little bit, let's laugh a little bit. Let's remember the first time we met. Tell me how that went.
Well, I thought of it a little bit differently than probably you did. You probably thought you were just helping a brother out. I was like, man, this guy's coming for me right now. I remember we were at an event, and I don't think we really were acquainted at that point yet, like personally, but
nah,
I guess we knew of each other, just not knew each other.
Yeah.
And you were sitting behind me, and
you were sharp. You were sharp that day.
I was feeling myself, brother.
Three-piece suit,
come on, man. I was doing the thing. And I get a tap on the shoulder. It's you. And it was really like, I can't even remember if you really said anything. It was you just showed me a picture.
I took a picture of the back of your head.
It was the back of my head.
Oh, man.
and you were just like, yo, like, I don't know if you know this, but somebody did you wrong.
Somebody jacking your hair up.
Oh, man, I remember I couldn't pay attention to anything else. All I kept thinking of is all these people behind me probably thinking the same thing. Like,
I'm not stunting the way I thought I was.
Like, yo, look at me from the front. Check the beard out. Don't look at the back of my neck.
That's funny.
You were like, yo, your fade is messed up. You're like, yo, come check me. I got a barbershop. And I remember at the time I was still living in the city. And I remember for the better part of 2 or 3 years, I would commute from New York to Jersey just to get a cut. Completely let go of a barbershop that I've been going to since I was a kid. Just, the trust was gone, man. The trust was gone.
Oh, man.
Now the rest is history, man. We here.
Yes, sir.
We here. That definitely could have went a different way too.
Oh yeah, you could have turned around and punched me in the face. Thankfully, I have, as people say, I have an intimidating, look to me that people may think I could fight or whatever. And the reality is, I've never been in a fight. I've never had to, thank God.
Right.
I don't know what I'm capable of or not capable of, but I just know my appearance kind of has done well for me.
Yep.
Avoiding certain situations, but yeah, that could have definitely gone another way. Like, yo, who the hell are you, man? Talking about my fade, bro. You hating? You bald anyway.
That was the first initial thought, and then I found out you were a barber. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I guess you don't need hair to be a barber.
Let's check out the fade. All right.
The easy pass.
The TG pass.
TG pass.
20 minutes and out.
What?